But who should be the curators?
Me. Because I'm smart, right? You seem pretty smart. We're not
Every
we're not
blogger thinks they are smart.
Yeah, but everyone thinks they're smart. Some people are schmucks, some aren't. I mean, that's the nature of our life. It's a meritocracy. Everyone wants to go to Harvard. Everyone wants to be a doctor. Everyone wants to work for the UN. Everyone wants to run their country. Some people can, some people can't. If we fall into that childish relativism, where everyone is as credible and relevant and smart and virtuous as everyone else, then we're lost as a human race. We have to make calls. The problem with our culture is we live in a world where increasingly self-worth is determined by one's creativity, by the idea that one could write a book or make a movie or sing a song. We've lost the structure of traditional community, and we're increasingly pushed towards sort of fetishizing our own individual creativity. So when I say to you, look, George, your stuff's crap, I'm not going to publish it, you take it very personally. It's a fundamental assault on you, on your identity. That's not my fault. That's a cultural crisis. Christopher Lasch wrote about this in A Culture of Narcissism. Daniel Bell wrote about it. It's a feature of post-industrial capitalism.
Is the old media doomed?
Yeah, it's doomed big time. It's really doomed. When I wrote my book, I still had a little bit of hope. I was sort of optimistically pessimistic, if you like, but I think it's doomed now. 3 years after the book, they still don't get it. The ones that do get it are jumping into new media, but most of them don't get it. I think we have a fundamental shift from a paid copy economy to an unpaid bits economy, in which creative people increasingly give away their content on the internet and then make their money through maybe TV shows or live speeches or perhaps even product support. Musicians are beginning to understand that. I think if you want to understand what's happening in the media business, look at the music world. They are the canaries in the coal mine. They're the ones who are showing us the future. And you can't sell CDs anymore. It doesn't have any value because you can have them online. You can steal them or take them. So the only way for musicians now to make money is to sell concert tickets or to productize their brands through clothing or other promotional things.
What will be the future of journalism?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. It's a really hard question. What I do know is that it won't be the old future. I have a feeling that we're living through a time of enormous, a great cultural revolution in the way in which people perceive information and the news. I think the old industrial model of the New York Times, large organization, filtering and curating information and then distributing it to the world is clearly finished. That's ended. The question is what will replace it. I don't know. It's very hard to imagine a world without traditional newspapers, but it's even harder to imagine a world with them.
In Brazil, there's a debate going on because we had the requirement of journalism school, a diploma in journalism school to be a journalist, and that was overruled by the judiciary. What's the difference between a blogger and a real journalist?
There's no difference. The word blog's lost any meaning. We shouldn't use it. We should obliterate it from the English language. When Arianna Huffington calls herself a blogger, and Mike Arrington of TechCrunch calls himself a blogger, and some 15-year-old kid in their bedroom calls themselves a blogger, they're not all bloggers. One is a professional writer who's using the electronic new media to distribute their content and selling advertising against it. Another is some kid who has an opinion, who may or may not be interesting, who's distributing their content, who's never going to make any money out of it. The word blog has lost any kind of meaning. The citizen word is a dangerous word. Anyone who calls himself a citizen anything always gets me thinking like George Orwell, always makes me feel very, very suspicious. The notion of a citizen journalist is deeply problematic. Good journalists want to report the world. That isn't necessarily an act of citizenship, just as a good citizen isn't necessarily a journalist. So I don't like the whole notion of citizen journalism. I think it's a contradiction in terms and often is used in a very Orwellian way by communitarians, by very virtuous Berkeley-style communitarians like people like Dan Gilmore, who have their own agendas, maybe virtuous agendas, but they're nonetheless agendas.
What does it take to be a real journalist in this new environment?
I think to be a real journalist requires two things. Firstly, the old requirement, the key requirement is curiosity, a thirst, a hunger to understand the world, to figure out what's going on. You know, why are you here? What's going on in Iran? Why did Michael Jackson get all that attention? Why is Obama so popular? How did Obama come to power? Those are key questions. You know, will America emerge from the recession? What's the future of capitalism? What's the future of media? What's the future of technology? Those are core human questions which existed since Socrates, which have nothing to do with technology or media or newspapers or anything like that. So there's that. The other thing I think you need to do if you want to be a real journalist is master technology. You've got to understand that text is pretty much finished as a standalone product. For people who want to become journalists, they've got to understand how to use a camera, how to use a microphone, how to take photographs. The future of journalism is the platform, a multimedia platform. I just bought the iPhone. I'm not an Apple groupie, but I'm really excited with the idea of having a little product that enables me to take photographs, videos, write text, and distribute them instantly on the internet. So if you want to be a journalist today, you can't be a technophobe. You've got to embrace journalism. The real question, and I don't know the answer to this, is why go to journalism school? You see all these kids going to journalism school at Cal and Columbia, and the question is, what are they learning? Are they just putting stuff off? Wouldn't they be better buying an iPhone and going out in the world? And I suspect that that's the case. I suspect that journalism school is itself an anachronism which may wither away.